We're continuing on now with episode 23 on page 139. If you're following along, Lisa, in your
Who Am I book.
Identity book, as I like to say. And so we're finishing up chapter 6. And so this section is praying like a child of God.
Yes. So we go back to the prodigal son when the father says to the son that all I have is yours.
Yeah, and whenever we approach God in prayer, we should always be aware of this fact.
Yes, that we are his heir.
Yeah,
and that he offers us a great inheritance.
Yeah, we are adopted sons and daughters of the Father.
Yes.
And just as we do for our children, imagine how much more God wants to do for each one of us.
Yes, and that we can tap into the spiritual treasure of the Trinity.
Yes, we have a spirit of sonship, Lisa, not
and
a
daughtership.
Spirit and daughtership, sorry, and not a spirit of slavery.
Oh, this totally goes into Galatians 4:1.
I said that to her this morning.
Yes.
This is just how God rolls.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
And we should remember that God permits trials to strengthen us to be the person he created us to be.
Those pesky trials.
Yes.
Yes, and we have a God, remember, who calls each one of us by name.
Yes.
So, Lisa, we're going to move on to chapter 7, which is you and your new name.
Yes.
And so...
Because we notice this in the Bible quite often, like Abram became Abraham, Sarai became Sarah. Jacob became Israel. And we become new creations at our baptism.
Very good. So the selection of a name is important, right?
Yes.
And I know a lot of, like Debbie and I, put a lot of time and effort into picking out Tyler's name. Mm-hmm. But many people, especially in the church, will pick names, right, from saints.
Yes.
Because names are so important.
Like my cat.
Yes.
Gianna.
Azzy? Oh, Azzy?
Well, Azzy is named after Aslan, which is... from C.S. Lewis, The Chronicles of Narnia, who is the figure of Jesus.
Okay. And then Gianna.
And Gianna is named after Saint Gianna.
Very nice. So there's 4 major points about names, okay, that we want to know. What are those 4 things, Lisa?
Distinctive.
Yeah, the names are distinctive.
Distinctive.
Yeah.
We want to be known by that name. Mm-hmm. That it's a foundation level of identity. And the scripture promises that God will give us a new name, like we had just mentioned.
Yeah, God knows us radically and uniquely, and our full true identity is found in Him and revealed by Him. And I think this is like if you took this one statement, our full true identity is found in Him and revealed by Him. That's the entire book in a nutshell.
Ah, yes.
Wouldn't you agree?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. That'll be on the test for y'all that are watching in the class. Okay.
Yes.
So what about Adam?
Well, in Genesis, God creates through speech, and so he creates all these animals and then lets Adam name them.
Right, and naming changes relationship, right? Like pets are a great example.
Yes, like I just mentioned mine.
Yeah, that was a great example. It creates identity, it creates connection, creates kind of a sense of order, and all of these things.
Yes, and Pope St. John Paul II calls the first 2 chapters of Genesis man's original solitude.
Yeah, Adam is learning about himself and how he's different from the rest of creation that he named, right?
Mm-hmm. But he did not have a suitable helper at first.
No, and so woman is created, and Adam delights in how she is like him.
Yes.
Cool stuff. I want to go back to this statement that we just said, Lisa.
Yes.
Adam learns about himself. And I think when we spend time in prayer and silence and quiet with God, this is when we learn more about ourselves than anywhere else.
Yes, that's true, because I feel like as I have spent more time in prayer each day in silence, then I don't necessarily let the things of the world affect me or influence me like I had in the past.
Right. And this is an ongoing process where God, He continues to wash over us, right?
Yes, exactly.
So my question is, what's the bottom line here?
That there's something powerful about taking the trouble to learn someone's name and their distinction.
And hopefully it's just taking the time to learn their name, but sometimes it can feel like it's problematic, right?
Well, and sometimes people have, right, especially if you're meeting a lot of people at the same time, and sometimes it's hard to remember names and faces, at least for me.
It is, and there are some crafty ways that you can...
Like repeat it.
Repeat it or come up with...
Hi, Deacon Dave.
Yeah, like
like
one lady's name is Millie, so I work in streets for many years, so I'd mill and pave.
Okay.
And so that helps me.
Oh, like, or the Book of James?
Yeah, the Book of James.
For that Mr. James
and
guy?
another guy's named Gene, and he said it well, like Gene Autry.
Okay.
And so that couple is Gene and Millie, and that's
Yeah.
how I remember them.
Oh,
So-
yeah, good.
And it does work.
Yeah, it does.
Right? And like there's another guy, he's the Prophet Joel
Yes.
at church.
Yes.
That's how I remember him.
Yes.
So the birth of Cain, for example, creates a new status between a parent and a child, right?
Mm-hmm.
And within the parents as well. Isn't that interesting? Because now your relationship is different by virtue of the fact that you've had a child.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So names are a part of recognition, and they are, Lisa, a core part of our self-identity.
Yes.
Any thoughts or takeaways or challenges, Lisa, since you are the expert in this area?
Find out the origin of your name.
Beloved. Mine means beloved.
Oh.
Yes.
Mine is, I think, consecrated one. I think. Because it's a form of...
excuse me.
It's beloved is good, though. It's a form of Elizabeth. And I hope that's right.
I'm Deacon
I'm
Dave.
Believer's Elisa.
See you later.
Bye. I think it's right.
That was fun.